Shabbat Shalom, neighbors. Coming to you live from the Harvey dining room here. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom. The end of this week. Let us come together as one community, virtual or no, and spend some time together tonight in worship and talking together. Let's find comfort in one another. Let's find joy. Let's find peace. And let's do it as one community. So we welcome all our friends, all our guests who join us from near and far, joining us on this Shabbat. If you have not already lit your Shabbat candles, Now's a great time to do it. I'm actually going to light mine too. So we'll light our candles and bring light and warmth into our homes, light and warmth into our lives. If you are following along with us tonight, in the prayer book, page 120 or page 224 for Mishkan Tefillah for travelers. So let's bring some light into this world. Let's bring some light to the darkness, each in our homes and together. Page 120 or 224. Okay. There we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitsham v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק של שבת. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. Let us welcome into our world and our lives the Shabbat bride, page 138 or page 16 for our travelers. So we sing these words of Lecha Dodi, these words that are Kabbalistic and really bring some beautiful meaning. So let's do so. Let's bring our Shabbat bride in and sing together as we formally welcome Shabbat. Shamor v'zachor v'yibor lecha Yishmi'anu el Chanukah Adonai echad Shemo echad v'shelo b'meret Lecha Dodi Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Anei Shabbat Kabbalah Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala לקראת שבת לכותנך כי מקור הברכה בראש מקדם נצוחה סוף מעשה ומחשבתך לך דודי לקראת כלה אני שבת קבלה Come to that last verse, verse 9. Welcome Shabbat. Oh, Shalom, Ater Bala, Gam Simcha U'Tzevola, Toch Emunei, Am Segula, Bo'ikala, Lecha Yodi, Lecha Yodi, Kala, Anei Shabbat Kabbalah, Lecha Yodi, Kala, Shabbat Kabbalah. Shabbat Shalom to all of our friends who have now joined us. We are on page 146 or page 24 for the travelers. And we sing together these words of Baruch Hu, which is the beginning of the Shema and its blessings, this rubric. And this is a reminder for us to make sure we're all present. Sometimes our mind could be elsewhere, but as we get started into this Shabbat prayer, how we're going to bring in these next 24 hours, we have to remind ourselves that we're here, we're ready, we're prepared, and that we do so. And hopefully we can find that preparedness, that readiness, by singing together and praying together. So if you're not ready yet, hopefully by the end of the Baruch Hu, you will be. Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Lay your lamp by it. Lay your lamp by it. At a night, night, night. At a night, night, night. At a night, night. At a night, night. At a night, night, night. At a night, night. At a night, night. Are you awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? And as we bring in Shabbat, we take a look out that window, we can see that the sun is beginning to set. And the light, which we have been so used to today, begins to roll away, begins to roll into darkness. And we know that tomorrow morning, darkness will roll away into light. And that is the cycle of our days, but also our lives, rolling from light to darkness and from darkness to light. And so we bless God for that creation, for that change. Creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light. Light becomes Page 152 or page 30 for Mishkan Tefillah. Say these words from Deuteronomy 6:4, the words of Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Yevod Malchuto Leolam Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Yevod Malchuto Leolam Leolam Vaed. Love, love, with all of your heart, your soul, and with all your mind. You shall teach your children to hope, to love, and to know what is right. Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Teach your children to hope, to love, and to know what is right. That is a great responsibility that we have. Our children are watching. It is our responsibility to teach them love and hope and righteousness. Page 158 Page 36 for the travelers. Words of Micha Mocha that remind us of our freedoms. How lucky we have been to enjoy such freedoms, and that we hope everyone else who has endured slavery of any kind can cross with us across the sea of reeds. Kamocha negan b'kodesh, Kamocha b'ayni madu, Kamocha negan b'kodesh. Lord, save the land. Lord, Page 160 or page 38 for our travelers, but a little Hashkivenu prayer, asking God to shelter over us Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace, something we could all use. Certainly for Shabbat, we hope that that shelter of peace extends far beyond these next 24 hours, where we gain an extra soul. It's also one of my favorite bedtime lullabies, so maybe after this you're heading to bed. So Hashkivenu is a way for us to say goodnight to one another and hope that when we lie down in peace and wake up tomorrow renewed. The words of Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Elohim, Leshalom, Leshalom, Le'amidenu Shomrei, Le'chaim, Frosanenu Sukkot Shlomecha, Frosanenu Sukkot Shlomecha, shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake the morning's light. Teach us daily wrong and right, O Adonai. Amen. 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 Let's join together on page 164 or page 130 for our Amidah, our Tefillah, the heart of our service. We join together and ask God to assist us in prayer, to open up our lips so that our mouths may declare our praise to God, tefillah, we take 3 steps forward to enter into God's world and 3 steps back to give reverence to the difference between us and the divine. And from Psalm 51:17, we ask, as so many have asked in our place, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehillah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanavai Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Yaakov וזוכר השדה אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לפני בניהם למען שמו ויאהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. Turn the page. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני בחיי הכל אתה רב לקושייה מוריד הטעם וכלכן חיים בחסד בחיי הכל ברחמים רבים צומח נופלים ורופא קוראים ומתיר נשואים וחיי אמונתו שמי הפעם Come back, give a room. We don't allow me to fire. Mats me a Yeshua, and Manatala Kayota. Arubata, and the next page, Atakadosh, Rishimcha Kadosh. וקדושים יום יהללו חסדה, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. All the prayers in our tefillah tonight, we hope that this one, page 178 or page 148 for our travelers, will be the one that is most heard by God, that prayer for peace of all kinds, not just on the Shabbat, but throughout this year and onward. We ask for an abundance of peace, which this world desperately needs in so many ways. We ask not only for shalom, but shalom Rav. Shalom Rav, Yisrael, Nasi Leila. Shalom Rav, Yisrael, Nasi Leila. Ki ata melech hador, lekol hashanu. Ki ata melech hador, lekol hashanu. Shalom Rav Yisrael, Nasi Leila. Shalom Rav Yisrael, Nasi Leila. Shalom Rabbi Israel Nasi Shalom Rabbi Israel Nasi Let's take a moment to think of those in our community who are in need of healing, those who could use prayers, those who could use the strength from those around them, those battling COVID-19 and those feeling the loss of those who have lost the battle to COVID-19, as well as so many other types of healing that are necessary in this world, individually and collectively. Here at Temple Israel, we think of Jason Beckner, Eileen Goss, Harry Herschel, Harriet Morrison, Sandy Perlman, and Sharon Tallis. To those names, we add any other names that you might have. Please feel free to type them in here on Facebook or here on YouTube, and we will add those names to our lists, our internal list, to make sure that we can add those prayers in unison as we sing for them and pray for them. Page 371 or page 203 for the travelers, we sing these words of Misha Berach, asking the one who blessed our ancestors to bless us and give us strength when we are ill, and for those who are also ill and need our strength and need God's strength as well. The source of strength, and bless the one before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. Let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with the Fuah Shema, the renewal of mind, the renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. So I thought that for these last three services, instead of giving sermons, seems silly here in my dining room, that I'd read some stories that I think have been meaningful to me, and I think could be meaningful to all of you. I'll be reading for these last three sessions out of one of my favorite books. It's called 3 Times Chai. And it's 54 stories told by rabbis, their favorite stories. And so we love this book, and it's got some wonderful bits of wisdom in it. And I thought on this third to last of my Shabbats here at Temple Israel, I'd read the first story in the book called The Barrel. as I think it's, I think it's really important. In the small village of Poland, excitement was growing. The town had only one rabbi, the rabbi had only one son, and the only son of the only rabbi was going to be married to a beautiful young woman of the village. Everyone was looking forward to the wedding. In honor of the upcoming nuptials, the mayor of the town issued a proclamation. First, the mayor instructed that a huge barrel be built in the middle of the town square. The mayor explained that a ladder should also be constructed to lead up to the top of the barrel, just like the kind of ladder that would lead to the top of a water tower. Next, the mayor decreed that during the coming 2 weeks, everyone in the village was to fill a pail of the best wine from his or her wine cellar and bring it to the village square. Then each villager was to climb up the ladder, pour the wine into the barrel. That way, the mayor said, on the evening of the wedding, the bride and groom and their guests would tap the barrel and have the sweetest, most wonderful celebration the village had ever known. After the carpenter, Shmuel, had built a gigantic barrel and set it up on top of tall poles, he constructed the ladder. Over the next 2 weeks, hour after hour, day after day, a procession of villagers carried their buckets into the square. Then each villager climbed the ladder and poured the contents of his or her bucket into the barrel. As the days passed, everyone could see the level of liquid moving up the barrel because the moisture was absorbed and began to seep through the wood. As the barrel became more and more full, the villagers grew more and more excited. Finally, the blessed day of the wedding arrived. The rabbi was cheerful as he married his only son to the beautiful young woman. After the vows were exchanged, the groom broke the glass. Everyone shouted, Mazel Tov. And the villagers moved into the town square to begin the celebration. Music was playing. The villagers sang with joy. They watched from below as the mayor of the town, who had proclaimed that the barrel be built, mounted the ladder and climbed to its top. He carried a mallet with him and stood ready to tap the large barrel. The villagers held empty jugs in their hands and stood ready to fill their glasses with the rich, sweet wine. Mazel Tov to our only rabbi, his only son, and the lovely bride. The mayor said, Mazel Tov to our village on this happiest day ever, and blessed be God who has brought joy to this bride and groom, to our small village. Finally, the mayor tapped the barrel and placed his mug under the spigot. Everyone in the village was shouting, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. And the entire village fell silent as the mayor turned the spigot and the liquid poured forth. And what flowed from the barrel? Nothing but water. The villagers lowered their eyes with shame. But why? How could this be? Well, for 2 weeks, every villager had thought that he or she could get away with pouring a pail of water into the barrel. Because after all, what would one pail of water matter with all that wonderful, sweet wine? Each villager had expected the other villagers to do their part, figuring that he or she had to do nothing. What should have been a glorious celebration turned into the saddest day that that small village had ever known. So Rabbi Stephen, the leader of Wilshire Boulevard Temple, he said he likes this story because it reminds us that we always need to bring our best instead of trying to get away with less. Reward, the rabbi reminds us, is commensurate with effort and sacrifice. So we can't expect everyone else to do their part while we do nothing. If one partner in a marriage tries to add water because he or she expects the other will bring wine, the couple will have a watered-down marriage. If you try to parent according to that principle, you'll have a watered-down family. If you behave the way as an employee, you'll have a watered-down business. If you put nothing into your Judaism, what do you expect to get out of it? As a Jew, as a citizen of this country, as a citizen of the world, you always need to bring your best. I think that the lesson pretty pertinent. And as I start to slowly leave the world of Temple Israel in these last 3 services, it's my hope that when I leave, each of you brings wine and fills up that barrel. Let's take a few moments of silent prayer, reflection, or meditation, and we'll meet back on page 180 or 152 for the travelers. Adonai, Tzuri, Adonai, Tzuri, Bekoani, Bekoani, Iyu Neratson, Imrefi, Ayoni Bi, Efaneha, Adonai, Tzuri, Adonai, Tzuri, Koani, Koani. We come to the concluding aspects of our service. We turn to page 586 or 214 for our travelers. As we now praise the sovereign of the universe and proclaim the greatness of the Creator, who spread out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else. Therefore we bow in awe and thanksgiving before the one who is sovereign over all, the Holy and Blessed One. Page 591 or 216. Thus it has been said, Adonai will be sovereign over all the earth. Adonai will be one on that day, and God's name will be one. So finally, we take a moment to ourselves and think about those in our midst who are in mourning this week and who are unable to join in a minyan physically to feel those needs and feel that company around them. It's difficult to do during virtual times to give honor to those who have come before us and to feel that you are part of a community. We hope that those who are in mourning do feel that way, virtually at least, and know that we are with you during your time, whether someone has died in recent days or in years past of this season. We are in Shloshim, 30 Days of Mourning for Debbie Walensky, and we remember the yahrzeits of Lori Ann Cook, Blanche Oppenheimer Morris, Louis Newman, Harry Herschel, Erica Rose, Henry Winsky, Stephen L. Golding, Seal Bluestein, and Morris Phillips. To those names, please add any others, those who have died in recent days or in years past of this season. I believe we are still observing Shloshim, I believe, for George Floyd. And we give thought to those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, the 6 million who died in the Shoah, and those who died defending this country and the state of Israel. We also give thought to those who died because of racial injustice or discrimination. And of course, we are also commemorating the 3-year anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting. During this Pride Month, we give special thought to those who have been lost in the LGBTQ community, again, to hate and discrimination. So please feel free to add some other names so that we can join with you and give a little comfort during this difficult time for you. All of us may return to page 598 or page 221 in our travelers and offer these holy and historic words of comfort and to give honor to those who have come before us. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabba, v'yalma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chaychon v'yomechon v'chayeh d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'nomar amen. Yehei shemei Rabba mevarach le'olam u'le'almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha v'richu ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushpachata v'nechemata ta'amiran b'yalma v'yimru amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shamayim v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Aseh shalom b'romav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the one who brings peace to the high places bring peace over us and over all of humanity as we say together. Amen. Before I send you out into the world, into these 24 hours of Shabbat, a few announcements for you. If you haven't actually heard, this will be my third to last service for Temple Israel. My final day of Temple Israel will be June 30th. As I have submitted my resignation, it is my hope that Temple Israel goes on and follows the spirits and morals and guidelines and ethics of the Reform movement and moves forward during these difficult times. So after tonight, there's 2 more services with me. Next week, June 19th at 7:30, I believe that is going to be a Kabbalat Shabbat service. So I'll add in some readings and some special things to commemorate Pride Month. So please feel free to join us there. And then my final service with all of you will be Friday, June 26th at 7:30 p.m. I thought it'd just be easier to just do Friday night services. That way you guys know always where it is, and here I'm at home. So those will be our last services together. Office hours remain the same, 1 to 3 on Wednesday and 1 to 3 on Friday. I have moved out of my office, so if you need me, email me or contact Kim and she can get a hold of me. And for those who are interested in keeping in touch, please let me know and I can provide my personal email address if you like. Hopefully many of you are still following along with Mishkan Tefillah for Travelers. I think it's just a good thing to have that or regular Mishkan Tefillah. So contact the office if you're interested in Mishkan Tefillah for Travelers so you can follow along with services and have it for you. It is time to update the directory. So please feel free to check the current directory for your listing and make sure it is accurate. Really important that we can contact you, phone numbers and addresses and email addresses. Do so by contacting Kim in the office. And we'd like to give a cheerful mazel tov to your child who graduated from high school, tech school, or college. We'd like to do that, in the August newsletter. So send in that person's name and where they're going perhaps, and any awards or certificates so that we can make sure Temple Israel can provide that mazel tov to you and your family. and let us know what their plans are. There's lots of people who like to see our young ones grow up and see what they're headed to. So I can tell you that I know the teens. Many of our teens are headed to wonderful places, and I'm not worried at all. I think our future looks very bright with these Jewish teens heading into the college world. With that, friends, Shabbat Shalom, and we'll see you next week at Friday night at 7:30 for our Pride Shabbat. And then a week after that will be our last service together. So we hope that you will join us. We thank you so much for joining with us together tonight. We wish you a Shabbat of peace and Shabbat Shalom. Take care, friends.